On our broadcast tonight, IndyCar reveals their renewed international broadcast partnerships. Juan Pablo Montoya is to run the number 86 at Indianapolis to honor Peter Revson's pole for McLaren. Howie DiSavino III is to make his NASCAR truck debut at Richmond. And a cable tip-off is another example of Lewis Hamilton's super spy focus.
From MDM Racing, this is MDM Nightly News with Matthew Molino.
Good evening. The NTT IndyCar Series has unveiled its lineup of renewed TV contract details for the international market, but new broadcast partners in other nations and regions will be announced soon. Existing and renewal partnerships will bring IndyCar to Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Japan, Mexico, the Netherlands, New Zealand, the Nordic countries, Latin America, Portugal, Russia, South Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, Spain, United Kingdom, and Vietnam. Coverage will increase in some nations such as Australia, where Fox Sports Australia and KO will broadcast practice sessions, qualifying, and live telecasts of every race. Sky Sport will continue as broadcast partner in New Zealand. Canada's Sportsnet will again televise IndyCar as local star James Hinchcliffe makes his full-time return to the series, and compatriot Dalton Kellett takes up permanent residence in the AJ Foyt Racing car number 4. GAORA Sports will continue coverage in Japan, which has a passionate IndyCar fan base largely thanks to reigning and two-time Indianapolis 500 winner Takuma Sato. France's CANAL Plus, the Netherlands Ziggo Sport, and Viaplay in the Nordic countries are also back to support their countrymen competing in the series. Sky Sports F1 will televise the NTT IndyCar Series in the UK, while additional 2021 renewals include Supersport, which covers South Africa and Pan-Sub-Saharan Africa, and Viasat Sport East in Russia, which has broadcast IndyCar events since 2013. A full list of channels in your country or region will be posted in the description. Juan Pablo Montoya's Our McLaren SP Chevrolet will carry the number 86 at next month's Indianapolis 500 to acknowledge the 50th anniversary of Peter Revson's record-breaking pole run in the McLaren M16. The Colombian veteran, who has started just 5 Indy 500s, yet has won 2 of them, was announced as the team's third Indy-only driver last December, alongside full-timers Pato O'Ward and Felix Rosenqvist, while last month it was revealed that Mission Foods will be Montoya's primary sponsor. Today, Our McLaren SP announced that Montoya's orange and white entry will pay tribute to Revson's effort in qualifying for the 1971 edition of the Memorial Day Weekend Classic. As team co-owner Sam Schmidt had long hoped, the team has also been able to confirm that Montoya will also race the number 86 in the Grand Prix of Indianapolis 2 weeks earlier on May 14th through 15th. That year, the Works team saw its lap times consistently bested by the similar M16 of Team Penske, piloted by Mark Donohue, and Revson would suffer a late engine blowup. However, in qualifying, Donohue didn't show his earlier pace, and Revson's crew members, who had hurriedly installed a new Offenhauser engine, were rewarded with the sight of their car not only capturing pole with a 178.696 mile-an-hour 4-lap average, but also beating the Indianapolis Motor Speedway track record by over 7 miles an hour. Howie DiSavino III will make his NASCAR National Series debut at Richmond, becoming the newest driver to take the helm of Jordan Anderson Racing's number 3 Chevrolet. DiSavino, who turns 20 years old on April 10th, will make his first Truck Series start on April 17th at the Richmond Raceway in Virginia, the home track for the native of Chesterfield, Virginia. Anderson has made 3 starts in his truck this season, with Bobby Reyes competing at the Daytona Road Course, and J.R. Hefner was to compete at the Bristol Dirt Race, but was forced to withdraw. DiSavino has made 7 starts in the ARCA Menard Series, most recently at this year's season opener at Daytona International Speedway. He overcame a late race flat tire and rebounded to finish 13th. His career best finish was 9th at the Indianapolis Raceway Park last season. Anderson, who drove his family-owned team to a career-high second-place finish in the season opener at Daytona this year, is hoping DiSavino's debut will be a memorable one. Keeping a close eye on what rival teams are up to is part of the game in Formula One. It's why teams spend money on spy photographers to capture close-ups of other cars, and why there are rules limiting what techniques and technology, like 3D camera scans, are actually allowed. While teams try their best to keep their own design secret, which is why you often see mechanics blocking off sections of the cars from rival teams on the grid or in the garages, there is one part of the race weekend where things are more open. In Parc Fermé after the race, the cars are held in an open space prior to post-event inspections, and there is little teams can do to keep prying eyes away. Although there is a gentleman's agreement that teams do not take close-up spy shots of cars there is nothing stopping drivers from walking right up to the cars to take a peek themselves. Several times, Sebastian Vettel has been witnessed checking out the fine details of a Mercedes, even pushing down on car parts on occasions, and Lewis Hamilton also is known to have a good eye for spotting things. While you would think that any information a driver gives back to the team from this moment is of minimal use, actually there can sometimes be priceless details that can push a team to work on something better for their own car. One of Mercedes' former engineers has now lifted the lid on what type of feedback a driver like Hamilton can give, and offered a fascinating example that highlights the world champion's attention to the smallest of details. Philip Brandl worked on Hamilton's car until the end of 2019, and during a recent appearance on Service TV over the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend, he was full of praise for the insight Hamilton often gave to the team. Former F1 driver Nico Hulkenberg said that drivers felt a responsibility to keep an eye on anything of interest they spotted on rival cars in those Parc Fermé moments. Williams says it will not make any compromises with its 2022 Formula One car design in a bid to push itself further up the grid this year. The Grove-based outfit is hoping to move up from the bottom of the F1 Constructors' Championship table this season, with its main rivals set to be Haas and Alfa Romeo. But although wanting to do well with its current car, it is well aware of the opportunities that will come from the all-new 2022 rules. Williams CEO Jost Capito insists that the priority is to make sure that the 2022 Challenger is as good as can be, even if that means it cannot give everything it wants to its current car. While Williams has found itself battling to just finish in the points over the past few seasons, it believes that the change of regulation for next year do offer a huge opportunity to shake up the competitive picture. With new owners Dorilton Capital injecting money into the operation, Capito expects a dramatic transformation in Williams' fortunes. And that long-term ambition is why he thinks it is impossible to judge this year how good a job the team has done. AlphaTauri, quote, should have a nice step forward, unquote, by Formula One's Spanish Grand Prix, according to technical director Jody Eggington. Aided by a more powerful Honda engine, AlphaTauri came out of the blocks strong in the season-opening Bahrain Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly showed the potential of the car by qualifying 5th, but didn't manage to get a good result due to sustaining front wing damage at the start. Rookie Yuki Tsunoda impressed by producing a feisty display on his way from 13th to 9th, scoring 2 points on his F1 debut. Team boss Franz Tost was happy with his team's fast, reliable package, but warned it would take 2 to 3 races to get a better picture of where things might stand in F1's tight midfield battle. By then, the Italian team will have rolled out incremental aerodynamic upgrades race by race, with technical chief Eggington said is the result of the team trying to claw back downforce taken away by the mandated cuts to the floor. Eggington said the team is still undertaking correlation work and validating data, as the preseason test took place only 2 weeks before the start of the season. Given the 3-week gap between Bahrain and 2021's second race in Imola, the team is confident it can start rolling out bits which should amount to a substantial upgrade by May's Spanish Grand Prix, the 4th round of the season. KTM's Brad Binder admits he was, quote, really quite scared of having to use the medium front tire in the MotoGP Doha Grand Prix, but didn't really have a choice. All 4 KTM riders ran the medium front tire in last Sunday's Doha Grand Prix, having wrecked the the soft option in the Qatar Grand Prix the week before. Binder said pre-Doha weekend that the tire choice dealt KTM a hard blow because the soft was too soft for the RC16, while its preferred hard option didn't work in the evening conditions. Very few riders touched the medium front, the only asymmetric option in the front tire range in Qatar, because it didn't feel good, with Binder wary of using it because he crashed 3 times in testing on the compound. Despite enduring an extremely hard race, Binder managed to get his KTM home in 8th in the Doha GP, having started 18th. Teammate Miguel Oliveira ran as high as 4th in the opening stages of the Doha race, having leaped up from 12th, but could only manage 15th after his RC16's dashboard switched off early on. Struggling to understand what gear he was in and when to correctly shift, Oliveira also unknowingly selected a leaner engine map, which added to his woes. Yamaha's Maverick Vinales says, quote, "You have to be crazy sometimes," unquote, when fighting Ducati MotoGP riders following last Sunday's Doha Grand Prix. Vinales backed up his Qatar GP victory with a 5th-place finish in the Doha race, having had to recover from 11th in the opening stages due to a poor start. He had similarly strong pace to that of race-winning teammate Fabio Quartararo. That should work. It's Quartararo. Judge how you think I should pronounce that. Give me corrections in the comments. As he carved through the pack, but a mistake fighting with Pramac's Jorge Martin in the closing stages cost him a podium and dropped him behind Suzuki's Alex Rins. Vinales worked all winter on his starts, but admits in the Doha GP his reaction time left him down and he almost lost the front end when he had a small wheelie off the line. ProDrive boss David Richards says a bit of ego is behind the World Rally Championship winning outfit disclosing its tie-up with Lewis Hamilton's X44 Extreme E team. The deal for ProDrive to run the 7-time Formula One World Champion's first move into team ownership was agreed last summer. However, it took only 3 days prior to the inaugural Desert X Prix in Saudi Arabia last weekend for the partnership to be officially confirmed in the public domain. Richards has known the Hamilton family for the better part of 25 years, from when his son used to race alongside Mercedes Grand Prix driver Lewis in karting. The alliance with X44 was initiated after ProDrive expressed its interest in entering Extreme E. Then championship co-founder Alejandro Agag alerted Richards to Hamilton's desire to collaborate with an experienced off-road outfit. This tie-up well predates Hamilton's recent amicable split with longtime friend, associate, and 1999 British Formula 3 champion Mark Hines. Hines previously ran the Project 44 business that presides over the Extreme E entry, but the setup is now led by Penny Thau. The Canadian's career includes picking up Justin Bieber as an amateur performer on YouTube and guiding his music career to global success. The deal with ProDrive also eased Hamilton's bid to sign Sebastian Loeb to X44. The 9-time World Rally Champion is contracted to ProDrive through the Bahrain Raid Extreme BRX1 program that made its debut on the Dakar earlier this year, but ended in retirement. His female co-driver Christina Gutierrez was scouted by Richards after impressing the Motorsport UK chairman during a run on the Andalusia Rally. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko believes Sebastian Vettel should have taken a year off from Formula One in 2021 instead of joining Aston Martin. After being dropped by Ferrari last year, 4-time F1 world champion Vettel explored a number of options before ultimately signing with the rebranded Aston Martin squad for 2021. Vettel endured a difficult debut for Aston Martin in Bahrain after being knocked out in Q1 and receiving a grid penalty. The German driver finished 15th after a clash with Esteban Ocon that landed him a 10-second time penalty. Aston Martin struggled to battle at the front of the midfield in Bahrain as it did throughout last year, with the team believing the updated regulations had hurt its low-rake concept. Asked about Vettel's struggles, Marco said he had not changed his view that the former Red Bull driver should have taken a year out before returning under the new regulations in 2022. Despite largely freezing the technical regulations for 2021 in a bid to cut costs in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the FIA moved to reduce downforce levels and slow the cars down. The main thrust of the downforce cut centered on the floors of the cars and appears to have hurt the teams with low-rake car concepts more than those running high-rake setups. Mercedes has also been hampered by the rule change, with Aston Martin team principal Otmar Szafnauer estimating it was worth around 1 second per lap. Although Marco agreed that Aston Martin had been hurt by the rule changes, he felt it did not fully explain the performance gap the team now faced. And that is nightly news for this Tuesday, April 6, 2021. I'm Matthew Merlino on this Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow night.